Indeed, they've won it themselves a couple of times, and it's always produced some really exciting racing. 2 qualifiers from 4 regional groups have made it this far to the last stages. Let's have a look at the lineup of the last 8, with 4 riders and a reserve in each team. The first group includes the very strong Wimbledon team, but they've lost a couple of their top riders, so that could open things up. There's Stoke in there, who've reached the final on 4 occasions. In the second group, Peterborough and Arena Essex are flying the flag for our region, but Middlesbrough and Poole have better records in the league this season. In each semi-final, it's 8 heats, and 2, of course, go through to the final. After the first 2 heats, all the teams had picked up points except Berwick Bandits, as we join the action, and Dave Lanning.
Looking across the line then for heat number 3. On the inside in red, Peter Johns coming in for one of the injured Wimbledon heat leaders. We have to say the Dons without Mike Ferreira and Jamie Lucker, so severely depleted. Peter Johns, younger brother of Roger, in grid 1. Next to him in grid 2, Bruce Cribb, yet to score, ran last in his opening ride. Grid 3 has the durable professional Tom Owen from Stoke, been around a long time, been a top man of the National League Speedway for more years than he would care to remember. Back after a very severe leg injury and looking as good as ever. And on the outside, the unpredictable but meteoric Andy Galvin from Hackney in white. He broke the track record here yesterday in the Grand Slam. Can go very quickly and equally can be unpredictable. Up to the line, it's Cribb away. Cribb leads it. Galvin sweeping around the outside and goes right around. Does he get Cribb? No, he can't pick up Cribb. In third place, it is Tom Owen, and they're all tightening up. So Cribb leads in second place, Galvin third. It is Owen, and this is a surprise as the experienced Cribb moves away, and Owen trying to creep around the inside curve inside Galvin, locked together for the second place battle. It's time for the second place, and Owen, using all his experience, has got under the younger Galvin, and Galvin keeping going around the outside. A good battle for second place. Now, can Tom Owen catch Bruce Cribb, and Galvin's gone down from Hackney. There he is. He might just relax and get the on point because Peter Johns is packed up for Wimbledon, so he's going to remain till the battle goes on. And Cribb is going to hold on. Unless Tom Owen can to do something very special. The track looks terribly grippy. Wrestling with their bike. The Berwick rider wins it. Second place is Owen. Third place having... Now, Galvin has gone down once. He's gone down again, so 2. Now, the track staff man really, if he touches the machine or the rider, he is excluded, and he's saying, come on, you can pick him up. But that's really good sense by the trackman. It's a very, very sensible move. Galvin, who seemed to have had enough, broke the track record here yesterday, and he's going to push it home. And here's a moment of drama, but we have to compliment that staff man here from Peterborough. He really used his head, and he's cheering him home, and that's a lovely moment. Let's watch Andy Galvin go down for the first time here. You can see Cribb in front, Owen in second place, and the track has got a lot of top surface, and Galvin in the white helmet is doing an old style leg trailing action. He goes down there and just sits down very gracefully, no real harm done. The bike spins around. He, in fact, does not lose contact with it. I think the motor kept running, so obviously the ignition cut out. Let's just watch here. They have an ignition cut out. He gets back on his feet. The crowd, they're reclining in the afternoon sunshine. The battle goes on up front, and Galvin back in the race, and of course he then falls again, but still gets the odd point. Well, there is the pits, of course. It's pretty busy this afternoon with what 8 sides on parade, and although we've got the 4 in the first semi all busy, of course we've got the other riders coming out in the second. A really crowded pit scene. So the last heat of this first semi-final, it looks pretty well cut and dried as Hackney have gone through, and that's not a very good sign for Stoke because Michael Wilding has contrived to fall off before he's even got to the start. And if he does that in the race, that could well let in Berwick. And there is Charlie McKenna. I think it could well be a change here. It looks as though it might not have been Mike Water. It could be the reserve. It could be Daz Sumner coming into the blue helmet colour, the rider we just saw trying the track out. And the Stoke Potters could be gambling here. It looks like Sumner with number 6 on his back. And he's got it on his leathers as well, so it is Daz Sumner, the 17-year-old in his first season. Stoke are gambling here. So let's look at the lineup on the inside. Sumner, bold gamble from Stoke. Next to him, Kelvin Teeger from Wimbledon. Grid 3 has Trevor Banks on the outside. Charlie McKenna from Berwick. And into the first corner, and it's going to be Banks who gets away. Banks leads it. Second place is Teager, third place is McKenna. At the back it is Sumner, and McKenna having a go around the outside of Teager for second place. And, Banks is finding an awful lot of drive. And McKenna knows he's got to win this one, and if he can get up here, because Sumner's at the back, it could well still be Berwick's day, but it's a tall order at this stage, with Banks leading in second place, Teager, and McKenna being squeezed out back in third place. It doesn't seem anywhere near fast enough. There is McKenna, but he's back in third place, and that's not going to be good enough for the Bandits. They've had a couple of race wins. But Hackney are going to glide gracefully through into the final, and Trevor Banks here in front in the white helmet is going to anchor them. In second place there is Teager from Wimbledon. Third place it was McKenna, and back it was Sumner, but Stoker just squeezed through thanks really to default by Berwick. So let's the underdogs, but with two informed riders who were successful in the Grand Slam individual event here yesterday. Let's look across the lineup on heat number 1. On the inside, Mark Fiora from Middlesbrough, an Australian, signed for £10,000 from Edinburgh during the winter. A real tough, gritty campaigner. Grid 2 has Dave Allen, again a much-travelled performer, back with Peterborough. He's in Grid 2. Grid 3 has Kevin Smith, former England international, with Poole on the outside. Neil Middleditch, former British junior champion, spearheading Arena Essex. Here we go for heat 1 of what should be a memorable semi-final. Off into the first corner, and who will show? It is Middleditch who gets away from Arena Essex in second place. It is Kevin Smith in third place. It is Mark Fiora, and at the back it is Dave Allen. But a terrific start from Neil Middleditch, who finished third in the individual Grand Slam here on this track yesterday. And it's really tightening up there behind him as Fiora comes bursting inside Smith. Middleditch in front, Smith, and now coming back into second place. In third place it is Fiora, and the action thick and fast here in heat 1. Well, Middleditch and Smith were teammates together at Poole, and we have Dave Allen who's gone down, or it may well be Fiora who's gone down in front of us here in our commentary position. Let's see what happens to Mark Fiora. You can see Middleditch and Smith here battling for the lead in heat 1. Spectacular style from Neil Middleditch out in front, and we'll look for Mark Fiora. He's in red in third place here, and as he goes through our picture, just keep an eye on the rider in third place. He goes out, hits the fence with a terrible crack with the back wheel, and sustained some back trouble there. That really was a heavy pile-up, the bike going on riderless, but Fiora really took a wallop there. Well, that collision with the fence certainly didn't just leave Mark Fiora in a sorry state of repair. A big hole there you can see being repaired by the track staff. And that really is evidence of the force which young Fiora hit the fence. We do so hope there's no more than superficial damage done, though. Heat 1 of the second semi-final without Mark Fiora, sadly taken away in the ambulance with back injuries, so 3 only. Dave Allen in grid 2. In white is Kevin Smith on the outside. Neil Middleditch, who was leading when the race was stopped for Arena Essex. Here we go for the second time of asking, and again, who will it be, who shows? And this time it is Allen who gets away, and going hard after him it is Smith, and Smith going around the outside of Dave Allen. So it's Poole in front, and the homester pushing hard out and moving into the lead. And this is a lucky break for Peterborough, because they were well back when the race was stopped. And now Allen showing his home track advantage. So still Dave Allen leading, showing that he knows his own way around this track, and Kevin Smith hard after him. And Smith, there was a hole there, and they are beginning to drift out. Middleditch, who can rightly feel aggrieved, he was leading when the race was stopped through no fault of his own, and Allen swinging right out wide and coming into the last lap now, with Dave Allen doing a good job, and the Peterborough fans lifting their voices towards him. Second place still Smith, third is Middleditch, and Smith trying the last despairing effort around the outside, and Allen moving across to cover him, leaving a hole, and Smith might just dive through it, but Allen holds on. Super Speedway, a win for Allen. Second place was Smith, third was Middleditch. So that's an encouraging start for the home side, because Allen was way back when the race was stopped first time, and it's a fortuitous break. So a large crowd here at in three and on the outside, Stan Bear, an overseas finalist, a really entrancing heat here in heat number 5, and away they go. And who will it be to show is on the inside, Hawkins, and Goodwin trying the outside line around him, and has he got the legs? And he gets put straight into the fence there. And well, it's going to be interesting to see what the referee makes of that, because it seemed that Goodwin was around the outside and hit the fence there, and the yellow light is on, and that's a controversial one, because Goodwin, the individual winner, going around the outside. Goodwin's on his feet. Let's watch it again, and watch for Martin Goodwin, because it's Hawkins on the inside of him here. Now Goodwin is clearly in the lead here. Hawkins comes around the inside, clever piece of curb riding. Now what happens here? You can see Hawkins moves him over, and as they go down the straight, he isn't the one to shut off, and he gets put into the fence and loses control of the machine, and that's a critical moment for Arena Essex. And Martin Goodwin sliding along there unhurt, but he's going to be out of the restart. Well, the drama's beginning to unfold here, because Arena Essex clearly upset by that decision. You can see Martin Goodwin on the track, the pit phone to referee David Hughes. He's been excluded. It looked, well, pretty harsh old decision. There is the referee, David Hughes, and he didn't have the view that we had, but Goodwin was left with nowhere to go, and really did well to avoid a much more serious accident.
Martin, give us your version of that incident.
Well, I made the start, and I was going around the first turn in front, and I drifted a bit wide, and Kevin come up the inside, but as he come up the inside and just got his front wheel in front, he just moved across to the fence and just cut my nose off, you know, point blank range. And there was just no need to do it. He could have left me a little bit of room just to be on the safe side, and so the accident wasn't caused. But no, he just straight across me and put me straight into the fence. There's just nowhere I could go.
So you're pretty upset, obviously, that you've been excluded.
Well, I'm upset for myself, for my team, you know. I mean, it could have cost us a chance of getting through to the final.
Thanks.
And we pick up the action at the restart with 3 riders only, and it's Hawkins who clearly has upset the Arena Essex side and coming hard around the outside. It is Gary Havelock for Middlesbrough, and the young man who we thought might impress us is in the lead. In second place is Hawkins, in third place is Stan Bear, and Bear for Poole will attack now Hawkins. But Havelock, what a little match winner this boy could turn out to be for Middlesbrough. And now Hawkins, who surely does know his way around Peterborough, going hard after Havelock, and Havelock, well, it must be said, Havelock left him a lot more room than he left Goodwin, and he's going hard in the inside of the young man now, and Havelock will not be moved over, and that's brave cornering by the young man. Really is a super piece of speedway, and Havelock is not to be put back, and he is really riding right out of his skin. He is taking apart the home number 1, and that is a really sensational ride from Gary Havelock, who almost overcooks the last corner, but wins it. Hawkins is second, third place is Stan Bear from Poole, right out of contention. And little wonder the Middlesbrough contingent are on their feet. Their young man has really delivered the goods to them. He was under intense pressure, but he gave not an inch, and that really underlines and emphasises this lad's potential. He really is a little discovery. Well, here's 7. And up to the corner, it looks like Cheshire has got away. Cheshire it is, but he gets scissored into the first corner, and hard around the outside it has come Dixon. Dixon leads it. In second place it's Bear. In third place it is Allen, and Cheshire at the back, who seem to make the start. And Dixon, this surely will take Middlesbrough into the driving seat if he can hang on here with Stan Bear in second place, and in third place Allen, and Allen, the home crowd will look to him to get up. Martin Dixon, of course, such a well-travelled and experienced competitor, and he really has been to size up for Walton despite the loss of Mark Fiora. The Teessiders have shown class, as indeed they have all season in National League circles. Into the last lap with still Dixon leading. In second place Bear, in third place Allen. And we're going to have a last heat decider, and all over the place there. Oh, Stan Bear has gone down, and that is a moment of high drama. He hit the fence all on his own, and he is down and stays down. And how did the other riders miss him? Dixon won it. Gift points there for Peterborough through Dave Allen. Third place was Cheshire, and Bear, who hit the fence, you can see is still down there, and he really did that all on his own. Let's watch it again. You can see Stan Bear in second place in white helmet, Dixon up front. Keep your eye on Bear. Now, did he have a rush above? What did he do? He's right out here on the fence. Grabs a handful of throttle, loses the front wheel, gets it back under control, hits the fence, goes over in the most untidy heap. Dave Allen did well to miss him, as did Cheshire, as men and machines came in all directions. Dave Cheshire finding his line, and there is Stan Bear down and out. You can see Neil Middlich there, left a picture of our frame. Neil has a very special interest. Stan Bear, in fact, is a resident. He lodges with him down in Dorset. Well, the old Peterborough safety fence has really taken a hammering here. Another hole in the fence and another patchwork job by the track staff.
Neil Middlich, how was Stan when he went into the ambulance?
He was pretty shaken up. He's hurt his big toe of all things. You can see on his boot where it's sort of been crushed a bit. I don't know if he's broken anything, but he's got the wind knocked out of him, certainly. He's pretty poorly at the moment.
Into the last heat, and it looks like Middlesbrough are certain to go through. Peterborough have got a bit of work to do through Ian Barney in blue on the inside grid. And Reno Essex have Martin Goodwin, who miraculously picked himself up from that spectacular tumble early on. He's on the outside, who clearly is aggrieved with a point to prove. So let's have a look across the lineup. On the inside in blue, Ian Barney for Peterborough. Next to him in red, Gary Havelock, who's looked sensational when he came in the reserve. 16 years old. Grid 3 has David Biles, and as the pool rider can get up here, they still might sneak a qualification place on the outside. Martin Goodwin in yellow and black, and on the inside it is Barney who gets away. Barney leads it. In second place it is Havelock. In third place it is Biles, and Goodwin trailing at the back. So this should be enough to take the home side Peterborough through, with Havelock in second place. In third place it is Biles. And off. Well, here is an absolute sensation, because Barney has pulled out with an engine failure, and we'll have to work that one out as Havelock goes into the lead. In second place now it is Biles. And even though they've had a bit of a disaster here, by our reckoning they can still finish 1 point ahead unless Biles can get up on Havelock. Well, there is David Biles. He's got Martin Goodwin right on his tail, but Havelock in front. And unless the young Middlesbrough rider stops and does something silly, it's going to be both Middlesbrough and Peterborough going through. Peterborough really made hard work of it. They've only won one race, and yet to record the last, but they're going to here with a last place. Engine failure from Barney. Second place here is going to be Biles. Third place is Goodwin. But drama, as we thought, right until the last. By the skin of their teeth, we've got a local qualifier, Peterborough, going through along with Middlesbrough for a final, and it should be some final.
Well, they got 4 team championships. Certainly plenty of thrills and bruises so far. What now has the final got to offer? Let's just check on the teams that have made it so far. From the first semi-final, Hackney and Stoke into their 5th final, then Middlesbrough perhaps emerging as the favourites, and Peterborough keeping the home interest alive. Let's rejoin Dave Lanning.
One heat completed, the Northern challenging in front with Stoke on 3 points, Middlesbrough 2, Hackney on 1, and Peterborough yet to score in heat 2. Looking from the inside across the line in white in grid 1, Jeff Pusey from Middlesbrough. Next to him in red, Alan Mogridge from Hackney, unbeaten in his first semi-final, one of only 2 riders unbeaten on the afternoon. Grid 3 in yellow and black, Dave Allen, who was a consistent points gatherer for Peterborough. He had a total of 5 in his semi-final. On the outside in blue, Paul Thorpe for Stoke, the leaders after 1 heat. Paul Thorpe can go a bit when he gets the wind in his sails. Heat 2. Like Mogridge, and it looks like Pusey from the inside grids, and swinging high around the outside comes Dave Allen. Allen's gone past 1. Has he got the steam to go past 2? I think he just might have. And into the corner it is Allen who leads it, and he really has got the bit between his teeth as Mogridge comes powering back under him. Mogridge and Allen together. In third place it is Thorpe, and this race is really coming up, boys, nicely to the boil. Allen almost lost the corner as Pusey comes through, and it is getting tight. Allen almost missed that corner there, and Mogridge did really well to avoid what could have been a collision, and Diane has gone Paul Thorpe at the back. There's Thorpe on the corner, and well, the referee, Mr. David Hughes, is going to have to stop it. Thorpe has gone down awkwardly, almost in the identical position we remember last year where Steve McDermott went down and broke a leg. Thorpe, I think, is just winded. He went down, well, really on his own, nobody else to blame. Well, let's see if we can spot what happened to Paul Thorpe. He's at the back here. As Allen goes through, and there he goes, just sliding gently down. Nowhere to go, all on his own, and the bike did seem to slow on for a very long way before it came into collision with the fence. You can see there, the fence and wallop, and the bike did go an awfully long way and still seems to be running. Heat 2 of the final restarting without the faller, causing the race to be stopped first time out. That's Paul Thorpe, he'll be excluded. Only winded, it would seem, from that collision with the fence. So now we look again for the restart with on the inside Jeff Pusey in white from Middlesbrough, then Alan Mogridge in red for Hackney. On the outside Dave Allen, he was leading when it was stopped, and we recall earlier in the day he was in third place when the race was stopped, and he hopped down and won that one. Mogridge away cleanly this time, so too is Pusey. Allen will wind it all around the outside. Is there going to be room for him to get through there? And well, there just was no room there at all, as Pusey was bold and kept going, and so too was Mogridge. And now Allen coming hard back under Alan Mogridge. He just ran out of track. So this, it must be said, is a little bit of a surprise. Jeff Pusey, an old stager, and forgive me for saying that, but he's leading heat number 2. It must have been a temptation for Middlesbrough to bring in their young reserve. Pusey proving that he has still a bit of life in him yet, and they will be to tighten up as Mogridge starts to challenge. Pusey riding an immaculate inside line, but I wonder if Mogridge can get enough steam up to get around the outside. That's his attack pattern, and it's getting a little bit close there on the fence. I think he might just have clipped it. Pusey giving nothing away. In third place it is Allen. And over the line, Jeff Pusey doing well to hold on for Middlesbrough. Second place, Mogridge. Third place was Allen. And, well, there is Jeff Pusey, the winner. And that takes Middlesbrough into the lead. The crowd enjoying that moment, and we can speculate that fate's a funny old thing, that Dave Allen from Peterborough, who took advantage of an earlier race stoppage to win it at the second time, that time could feel a little aggrieved as the Middlesbrough fans celebrate. While Middlesbrough in the lead, and they play their trump card, Gary Hadlock, 16 years old, unbeaten in his semi-final, coming in for Mark Fiora. And this is a tactical ploy and a clever one by Middlesbrough. Fiora is back here encouraging his team colleagues. I think they may use Havelock, as indeed they're entitled to. Havelock on the outside here in Heat 3. Middlesbrough in the lead on 5 points. Hackney and Stoke on 3 apiece. And Peterborough, the home side, on 1 with some catching up to do. Heat 3, let's have a look at it on the inside. In red, Paul Bosley from Hackney. Next to him in yellow and black, Kevin Hawkins, are last in Heat 1. Grid 3 has Tom Owen, who knows all the ropes and all the tricks. Most experienced competitor. And on the outside, well, no younger and no more sensational than Gary Havelock. A classic example of the joys and charms of National League racing. Tom Owen there has been around for about a decade now and has always been a top liner. Havelock came into Speedway on his 16th birthday this year and has captured the imagination of crowds everywhere he has ridden, not least of which here at Peterborough so far. Let's see how he weighs up heat number 3 as Middlesbrough look to the kid to keep them in the lead here in heat 3. And he hasn't got a good start. In fact, it's Owen. It looks like he's got away. Owen has leading it in. There's Hawkins, and here comes young Havelock. And what a super piece of cornering from him. He really is a stick of dynamite. Around the outside of Tom Owen, and Owen is shoving him out and out and out, and Havelock's having none of it. They're absolutely shoulder to shoulder. Hawkins has been left. And here comes Havelock, and he is tremendous. Look at this from the school kid. He missed the start, he came around the outside as though the rest of them were really in a different gear, and Havelock is confirming all the great things we've been saying about him and the critics have been saying for all season. And now it's getting a bit tight for second place as Hawkins produces his party piece for Peterborough, gets around the outside of Owen. And way at the back it's Bosley, and Havelock now has as Kevin Hawkins right on his back wheel, and Hawkins will try to run the outside, but Havelock is stretching away and really is quite a find. Here comes Hawkins, but I think the young master has the measure of him. Super win again from Havelock. Second place was Hawkins, again doing a lot of difficult work. Third place was Tom Owen. Middlesbrough confirm and emphasise their superiority in the most emphatic way. Well, let's have a look at a new whiz kid, and remember the name Gary Havelock on the outside here, because he shows he has absolutely no fears. As Tom Owen gets away with Kevin Hawkins, watch for him just winding the throttle on, and see, he seems to find a different gear altogether. And these are really experienced top line as he gets around the outside of first Hawkins and then Owen. Owen gives nothing away, will follow the action through as they come into the third corner, and Owen really moves in and tries to elbow him over there and says, "Move over, kid." And Havelock has received full broadside on, having none of that, holds his line, showing no fears at all, and we really do say a star is born. So into heat number 5, Andy Goldman with a few last-minute adjustments from his team camp. Andy Goldman for Hackney. Hackney are moving up into second place now with the race win in heat number 4. Heat 5 on the inside, we have Tom Owen in blue for Stoke. Next to him, grid 2, Ian Barney. And he's in yellow and black for Peterborough. Grid 3 has Andy Goldman, an exciting youngster from Hackney. And on the outside into the fray for the first taste, indeed in this final, it's Steve Wilcock in his benefit year for the Teessiders. He's on the outside and he is in the white helmet colour. Middlesbrough in the lead, looking down to Wilcock. He's got broad shoulders, but he's missed the start. And out to the corner, it is Goldman who gets away. Goldman leads it in second place, it's Owen, and here comes Wilcock trying the high-wide route. Gets round one, or has he? And the lead is Goldman, and they're not giving much away out there. Well, Hackney are beginning to show their colours, and Wilcock sweeps inside Owen. Looked as though his front wheel was over the inside line. Of course, that would be foul riding if both wheels were over to his advantage. And now Wilcock closing on Goldman. He's suddenly aware he has got a Teessider right on his tail. Wilcock has hit him right around the inside. Third place is still Owen, and Barney at the back. Peterborough disappointing. And here comes Barney soaring through into third place as we pick up the action. And Wilcock has switched his attack to the outside and does it successfully. And maybe he just caught him napping, and whoa, right around the outside, Ian Barney, and it looks like Goldman's bike is slowing here as Barney tears under him. I'm sure the bike is slowing. Can he hang on for 1 point as Wilcock wins it? Second place is Barney, third is Goldman with the bike slowing. I think he might have a puncture, he's gone down. I think he may well have had a puncture in the rear. That's bad luck for the Hackney Kestrel, but certainly I think it was the bike and not the man that caused the trouble there. So there are the scores with, 3 races to go, and Middlesbrough just need to win this one, and they could anchor it for their first ever success at the 4-team tournament. And they've got young Gary Havelock, who's fast becoming the star of the day, unbeaten, 16 years old. He's in here replacing Mark Fiora, and he's in grid 2, and Middlesbrough cannot be caught if young Havelock can continue unbeaten. Looking across the line on the inside, Peterborough play their reserve Ian Barney, then Havelock in grid 2. Grid 3 has Mike Wilding from Stoke, and on the outside is Alan Moggridge. And who will show it is Barney, and it is Havelock. And Havelock's got squeezed out at the first corner as Barney leads it in second place. Oh, going very wide is Moggridge, and Havelock's gone through into second place, and this might just be enough as well as Barney goes clear. The home specialist, and now here's got Gary Havelock closing on him. In third place it is Moggridge. And now the battle is on, and we watch for young Havelock, who has got this superb style and bags of motor, but Barney knows every piece of shell of this Peterborough circuit. He's cutting out the action up front. As Havelock tries to close, he's not really making any ground. In third place it is Moggridge. Into the last lap, it looks like Ian Barney will give Peterborough something to cheer about. By heading over, though, the young man isn't finished yet. Still, 5 lengths daylight between them. making sure that Barney doesn't go to sleep. And round the last corner, Barney holds on, celebrating. Peterborough enjoying that moment. And Middlesbrough, with that second place, might still be caught yet, although it's looking as though it's their day. Well, there is the score, and the Middlesbrough contingent here at Peterborough getting ready to celebrate. They know they only need 1 point from these last 2 races to win the National 4-team title for the first time. And they already seem to be enjoying the moment. But funnier things have been known to happen in Speedway, and it's still technically possible for Peterborough and Hackney to draw level with them. So let's look at Heat 7. Steve Wilcock is the man for Middlesbrough in grid 2. On the inside, in the yellow and black, it looks like Dave Allen on the inside in yellow and black for Peterborough. Next to him in white, it's Steve Wilcock, leading just 1 point. He won his opening ride, so it should not be beyond him. Grid 3 has Paul Bosley. On the outside, Nigel Crabtree from Stoke. All eyes on Wilcock here, and he was surely guilty of tape touching. Yes, the light goes on, and we have drama because Wilcock was impatient, and the referee, Mr. David Hughes, has the white light on, so that means that Peterborough have blown one chance, and suddenly this National 4-team championship final is alive and buzzing. Let's watch it again and see if Wilcock is the guilty man. He's moving, does he touch? Yes, no question at all, Wilcock the guilty rider. And he's come out, and suddenly there's a whole new complexion on this final. Well, there is the light, but again, it sets up a potential fairy story, because the Middlesbrough team can now bring in their reserve, and of course that's young Master Havelock, who might still have the last say in this final. On the inside, there's Dave Allen, then Havelock. Grid 3 has Bosley on the outside, Nigel Crabtree from Stoke. And off they go, and up to the corner. It looks like it's going to be Havelock in front, with Allen all over the place in second, and doing well to stay in contact with the saddle. But it's Havelock in front for the Tigers, and here comes Nigel Crabtree hard under him for Stoke, and Havelock again is not to be deterred. The boy is lacking nothing back of his belt, that's for sure. He is stretching them. He is going clear of Crabtree in third place. It is Allen at the back, it is Bosley, but it's all about this young man. And what a story we have, what a tale he'll have to tell his old dad, Brian Havelock, because he came into the action so limited in his experience, but we're going to hear a lot more of this kid. He really does look like the goods, certainly the best young 16-year-old prospect I can remember in British Speedway since, well, maybe Kenny Carter and England #1. The last lap, 380 yards to go. The celebrations, I'm sure, will be riotous and glorious as still Crabtree challenges, and in he goes hard, but Havelock didn't really worry he's going to do enough. Last desperate bid from Crabtree wins it, but Havelock knows that 2 points will be enough, and Middlesbrough are the new 4-team champions. And Gary Havelock, the kid in his first season, is the lad who has carried them through. What a story, and what a moment for the youngster. I'm sure there'll be a reception committee at the pit gate, and sure enough there is, and Mark Fiora is there as well. Poor lad can't get involved, you can see him on the right of the pitches, but there are the celebration bumps. Wally Maudsley, the promoter, is there. It's the guy second from right, and these are marvellous moments for the Tigers. They're top of the league, they've won the 4-team title, they're having a marvellous year. Let's look at the start again and see the skill and ability of Havelock from the back or from the lead. He hits the start there, he's going to be squeezed out. It looked like Bosley was there, and so was Allen. Look at Dave Allen, and Allen suddenly picks up some drive here and has to knock it off a bit quick, otherwise he'd have speared the young man amidships. But Havelock, unaware of all the drama and tension, pulls clear and steers the Tigers to glory.
Well, there's a 16-year-old at the moment, Gary Havelock. Gary, a tremendous ride. When you came here this afternoon, did you expect to have that sort of success?
No, not really. I only expected to have 1, maybe 2 rides and just pick up a few points which might have helped Middlesbrough along the way.
Certainly going very well for you, and that last one was very dramatic. Did you expect to get that one?
No, Steve just wanted out. We only needed a point from the last 2 races just to make sure of the victory, and Steve went out and he was just trying too hard to go out and win it. So he touched the tips, and then when he put me in, I was winning it for 3 laps, and I think I might just relaxed a bit, and he came under us, but we only needed the 1 point anyway, so it didn't really make that much difference.
Well, I'm sure that's a match winner we should be hearing plenty of in time to come. Incidentally, in the last heat, Ian Barney's win for Peterborough pulled them up to second place. Just a quick check on the final scores. Middlesbrough at the top, of course, then Peterborough, followed by Hackney and Stoke. So the locals went away pretty happy, but Middlesbrough went away as the 1985 National League Fours champions. Well, our next speedway will be the famous, perhaps it's the infamous 60...